My name is Jaclyn Kim, and today I'm going to be talking about the most commonly found enharmonic notes on the G string. Enharmonic notes are notes that sound exactly the same but look different and have two different names. So even though they look different and they have two different names on the staff, if you closed your eyes and you played those different notes, they sound exactly the same. So, for instance, our very first note on the G string is called open G. Sounds like this. And that's the lowest note we can play on the violin. But if we saw a F double sharp, which is very uncommon, but it is the enharmonic of a G. F double sharp has 3 ledger lines, like that, and a double sharp sign, which is an X. And if I were to play an F double sharp on my violin, it would sound like this. So they sound exactly the same, and they are the same note, but they have 2 different notes, and they look different on the staff. Another enharmonic note for G would be A double flat. A double flat would have 2 ledger lines and 2 flat signs. Open G, F double sharp, and A double flat. They're all the same notes sounding wise, but they have different names and they look different. So moving on to the next note, A flat. You have a regular A flat. That looks like that. And a very common enharmonic note of A flat is G sharp. So G sharp, like that. So this is A flat, a low 1, and G sharp, a low 1. The next note we have is A natural, and a natural sign looks like this. And an enharmonic note for A natural could be G double sharp. That's a little uncommon, but you can see it. But also A natural could be referred to as B double flat. Anything double flat or double sharp is more uncommon, but you could see it. Moving on to the next note, B flat. B flat is most commonly played with a low second finger, and B flat can also be called an A sharp, like that, and most likely we would also play that with a low 2, although you could play it with a high 1, and it really just depends what note comes before, so what feels the most natural. So this is B flat, and this is A sharp. And then the next note is B natural, and we play that normally with a second finger. B natural could also be called A double sharp or C flat. C flat can either be played with the second finger or a low 3rd finger. I think second finger would be more comfortable, but again, depends on what comes before it. So this is a B natural, and this is a C flat. Then our next common note is C natural. There's a natural sign. C natural we normally play with a 3rd finger. C natural could also be called B sharp, and most likely we would also play that with a 3rd finger. C natural could also be called D double flat, and D double flat would look like this. The easiest finger to use is probably 3rd finger, but you could switch it up if you want. So this is C natural. This is B sharp. And this is D double flat. Then our next note is called C sharp, or another really common name is D flat. You'll see both of these notes quite a bit. Normally when we see a C sharp, we'll use a 3rd finger, and normally when we see a D flat, we would use a low 4. but again, you can change it. It doesn't have to be one way or another. So this is C sharp, and this is D flat. And if you look at my hand closely, C sharp, and then I could also put a low 4. And it sounds the same. I just placed my different fingers on the same place on the violin, and then it sounds the same. And last, we have D natural. D natural is our kind of normal 4th finger we would use. And D natural could also be called C double sharp, or it could also be called E double flat. And again, anything that has double in it, double flat, double sharp, it's pretty uncommon, but you may run across it. So 4th finger D sounds like this. Then C double sharp and E double flat. So these are some of the enharmonic notes on G string. I'm sure there are more than just these. I try to pick the most common ones you find. Once you understand the pattern, it's kind of easy to figure them out yourself. But the first time you learn about enharmonic notes, it seems very complicated because it seems like there's an endless amount of options. In some ways there are, but they're not as common. So if you know the most common ones, normally you can play music very easily. If you do have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll reply to them. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!